And we are back. Welcome to the final day of the penultimate round of fixtures in the European qualifiers. Once again, there will be some World Cup predictions for the African games in the pinned comment of this video, so make sure to check that out if you are looking for more predictions from me today. As for the video itself, we're going to be talking about 7 more matches in the European qualifiers, all taking place today from groups B, D and I. And if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video if you have enjoyed these predictions, and subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. We will be doing this, of course, for the remaining 3 days as we go into the final games in this European qualifying campaign. Let's get straight into all of today's action. And we start off with Group B and the game between France and Gibraltar. Now, obviously, whatever happens, France are guaranteed to top this group. That, as we discussed with England last night, France will be looking to secure one of those spots as one of the top 5 group winners, meaning that they'll go into pot 1 for the draw in a couple of weeks' time. I think whatever team they put out, very similar to England-Malta last night, I think whatever side France put out this evening, it's going to be far, far too much for Gibraltar. And I'm going to go for the same scoreline. I went for England last night. I'm going to go for 4-0 to the French. Gibraltar have been averaging roughly 3 goals conceded a game. France have been averaging roughly 2 or 3 goals scored. But I think this is the worst matchup in the group so far, which is why I'm going to go for 4-0 to the French. The other game sees the Netherlands taking on Republic of Ireland in a game which sadly doesn't actually mean anything, despite the fact that when you look at the group, it would suggest that the Netherlands need to win. However, due to the countback scenario, even if the Dutch lost and the Greeks ended up winning, it sadly means that they would end up on the same number of points, and the Netherlands beat Greece in both games, meaning that whatever happens, the Netherlands will go through as runners-up, even if they lose their last 2 games and Greece win their 1 remaining one. So really, this game is just about building form in the run-up to the Euros, and for Ireland, it's probably just an excuse to try and earn some pride after what's been a terrible campaign for them. I think the Dutch are going to win it. I don't think it's going to be a massive high-scoring game. I think it's just going to be a bog-standard international game where the Dutch are probably going to come out on top, and I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to them, just because on paper, they are a much better side than Republic of Ireland. But who knows? This is the sort of game, like we spoke about with Azerbaijan and Sweden the other night, where you never know. If the Irish really went for it, they could turn up, because it's really a game that the Dutch aren't going to care too much about. Into Group D, and this is the really interesting one. As things stand, Turkey are top on 16 points, and they have Wales and Croatia both behind them on 10, both with a game in hand, which of course are taking place tonight. Now, if Wales and Croatia both win, they will both be 3 points behind Turkey, and if they then both win their final games, then all 3 teams will be on 16 points, which actually means that it will then go to sort of like a head-to-head triangle, potentially going down to goal difference between all 3 teams, which makes it very, very interesting, because as things stand right now, Wales are above Croatia on the head-to-head because Wales did better than Croatia over the course of the 2 games. However, Croatia are ahead of Turkey when it comes to head-to-head, and in order for it to end up in a situation where all 3 teams are on 16 points, Wales would end up having a better record than Turkey. So we'd end up in this massive loop where everyone's beaten everyone. So, quite frankly, it's out of everyone's hands, and it all comes down to who is actually going to end up scoring the most goals. So we start off with Armenia against Wales, which is a fixture that I absolutely do not want to talk about, because Wales should win this game comfortably. They absolutely should. Armenia are not a very good team. They have some decent individual players, but they've not really done anything well as a team, apart from when they won 4-2 in Wales earlier on in this tournament. If Wales would have just beaten Armenia at home, they could have potentially set up a position tonight where winning today would see them into the Euros. However, they lost at home to Armenia. So now travelling to Armenia for this second game, it really throws it up in the air as to what's going to happen. Wales should still win, but I can't sit here with full confidence and say that Armenia aren't going to win this game. It's just a ridiculous game to call. I think it could go any which way, but I'm still going to stick with the side that I think should win, which is Wales. And based on the fact that it was 4-2 in the first game, I'm going to go for 3-2 to Wales in this one. But yeah, I think this is the hardest prediction of the night. I think this could go any which way, but I'm going to back Wales to get the job done. The other game sees Latvia taking on Croatia. Croatia won 5-0 in the other game, so I don't really see this being too much of a difficulty for them. However, as we've already spoken about, they're only on 10 points so far in this group. They have struggled a lot more than everyone thought they would. But in the end, I think they're going to take it tonight, and I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to Croatia. On to Group I, and we start off with the game that means absolutely nothing between Belarus and Andorra. These sides are both out regardless of what happens in any of the other games. They are the bottom two sides in this group, and this again is essentially just a glorified friendly. You have to look at the form guide and suggest that Belarus are the better of the two sides going into this one, and they're the side at home as well. It was 0-0 in the reverse fixture, and I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Belarus in this one. Into the two later games we go, and this is where things start getting interesting once again. Off the back of Israel getting their draw in their game in hand against Switzerland after it was originally postponed due to the ongoing conflicts, that game took place on Wednesday, and like I say, it ended in a 1-1 draw. That means in order for Israel to qualify, they are going to have to win tonight against Romania and then win their final group game in 3 days' time. For Romania, the task is simple. Draw tonight, and they qualify for the Euros. The biggest problem they've got is their final two games are away to Israel tonight and then at home to Switzerland in 3 days' time. So it's really tricky for them as to how they're going to approach this. I think what they're going to do is they're just going to try and sit in and defend. They have played 8 games in this European qualifying so far and have only conceded 4 goals, which is an incredible achievement for them. It's going to be a really tough fixture for them tonight. However, I think that's just what they're going to do. They're going to park the bus and they're just going to say, Israel, you have to beat us to get through. And if we keep a clean sheet, we are through. And I think they're going to pull it off. And I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw. And I hate going for 0-0 draws, but I just think that that's the way this game is going to go. I think Romania are going to hold out, and I don't think Israel are going to break them down. That will mean that basically whatever happens, Switzerland are going to be through. Regardless, they know that if they win tonight, they are through regardless of what happens in any of the other games. They could even lose to Romania if they win tonight. They're against Kosovo. Kosovo have done okay in this tournament, as we always laugh and joke about. They've had a lot of draws, but I think away to Switzerland, the best team in the group on paper, I think this would be a step too far for Kosovo. I'm going to go for 3-1 to Switzerland, and that will see them through into the Euros with Romania if they are able to hold off Israel. It's going to be a very, very interesting night of action, which could set up some very, very interesting games for Tuesday night. Thank you very much for watching as always. Let me know down in the comments all of your thoughts for today's games. And like I say, make sure to check out my predictions for the African World Cup qualifiers in the pinned comment below. I will see you again tomorrow morning, same time, for the first day of the final match day of European qualifying.